Running on my iPad mini here is a streaming response chatbot. I built this with Unity and on-device Apple Intelligence. Let's ask my chatbot a question. A list of useful potions and items for an upcoming fantasy adventure. Watch the reply streaming out. This is generated natively by Apple's hardware. In this video, I'll show you how to do this with just Unity C# scripts. In the last tutorial, we built a chatbot with animated expressions. We used the free Unity asset, CoreOnDevice Large Language Model, to access Apple Foundation Model in Unity C#. And we call respondAsync function to fetch expression and text replies from Apple Intelligence. The problem is that this function returns only when the entire response is completed. Let's try and ask the chatbot how to bake a cake. That took a while, didn't it? There was nothing to see, and then boom, all the text appeared at once. For better user experience, we would like to make the initial wait as short as possible. The answer is to stream initial responses to the display as soon as possible, even when they are not completed. Here is a mock-up of what a streaming response would look like. The response_stream function returns an array of asynchronous results split into different times. In this mock-up, we wait a second in between each result. First, it returns streaming, then it returns streaming canned. Finally, the complete reply is returned. Notice each time it returns results from the very beginning. This is how Apple Foundation Model streaming mode behaves. Let's see this in action. Hi. Streaming, canned, reply. Alright, let's do this for real. The first step is to define our response structure type, chat response. We have an expression enum and a text reply. Notice expression type has a question mark after it. This is important. This means that expression can be null in a returned partial result. Always use nullable enum types for streaming response. String type does not need nullable. When incomplete, it will have empty string or set to partial content. Let's update the respondStream function. Remove the markup code. We will use an await for each loop. The streaming function is session respondStream async generic. Set the result type to chat response. Input is message. Add cancellation token so user can abort the streaming loop early. Finally, for each partial result, return the .output property. That's it. That's all the code you need to write on the AI side. Now let's work on the game logic side. When the user clicks on the submit button, this onUserSubmit function is triggered. The function is very simple. It gets the user input message and launches this awaitable function called handleChatbotSequence. The first thing that we want is to immediately trigger the acknowledge animation, so the user can get an immediate reaction. Then we start the await for each loop on the streaming response function. If we see valid expression, display and animate the expression. If we get an updated reply, display the updated text. Alright, functionally we have hooked up everything. One last thing, you should cancel any running handleChatbotSequence function whenever you launch a new one. The code will look something like this. Let's test this out. How to bake a cake. Immediate acknowledgement, expression comes, here comes the text, streaming one chunk at a time. That's a wrap. Next time I'll show you how to handle errors. Happy creating!